Hello everybody, welcome to the Lady Code. Now that we have successfully installed NetBeans, let's get into the basic data types that you need to know. Variables or data types are what we use to assign values, manipulate, and override so that you can get a desired output. Today we're going to do the basic 5 that are most commonly used. First off, we have a Boolean. A Boolean only has 2 possible values, which are true or false. For example, you would use a Boolean when people are asking yes or no questions. Next up, we have a char, which is one specific character. A char is any character that you can see on your keyboard, and each character is assigned a numeric value on this table called an ASCII table. You can use these numeric values to manipulate the chars as you wish. However, we don't use them very often. Next up, we have ints. Ints are essentially integers, which are positive and negative numbers. However, they do not contain any decimals or fractions. Ints are essentially easier to manage and are the preferred data type to use if you don't require decimal points. For example, if you need to enter age. Next up, we have doubles, which are essentially your real numbers. They are numbers that include decimal points and are much more precise than integers. For example, you would use a double when you need height. And lastly, there's strings. A string is a combination of characters, or chars, and is mainly used for gathering input and displaying your output. For example, if you wanted to input a name, you would save it as a string. Now that we have a basic understanding of the variables, let's learn how to input them into NetBeans. First, we have to create our first project. To create a new project, you click on this orange rectangle that says New Project. You select Java with Ant, as Java with Maven and Java with Gradle will not give you the result that you want with the specific code. You select Next, and then you give it the name that you want it to be named. You select Finish, and you are greeted with this. It may seem like a lot, but what you need to know right now is that you need to code inside of these 2 curly brackets, as this is the main method. This main method suggests that as soon as you click the Run button, everything within these curly brackets will happen. So let's learn how to input our different variables. For Booleans, we say Boolean, and now we can choose whatever name we want the Boolean to be. I'm going to say TOF for true or false equals, and now you can assign whatever you want the value to be. So in this case, I'll say that TOF equals true. And in Java, we always end our statements with a semicolon. Now we have inputted our first Boolean, or our first variable. Next up, let's try inputting a char. So we say char character equals, and now for chars, because it is a specific character on a keyboard, we put them in single inverted commas. So let's say A. Next, we're going to try input an integer. So we say int num, or number, equals, and let's say for this case, 10. Next, we can input a double, so we say double number 1 equals, let's say, 10.4. Just a note, you do have to use dots and not commas. And lastly, strings. For all of these other variables, you can see that we started with lowercase letters. However, for strings, we start with an uppercase. String name equals. And now for strings, because it is a word or a sentence, you put them in inverted commas. And let's say Ashley, and end it with a semicolon. Now we have our 5 different variables, and they have all been assigned a value. Now we're going to see if we can output them. An easy way to output them is typing SOUT and the tab button. And system out println basically means that it is outputting whatever you put inside of these brackets. So let's try output TOF and press the Run button. It outputs true. Next, let's try output character, and it outputs A. If we output number, it'll output 10. And if we have number 1, it outputs 10.4. And lastly, if we output name, we have Ashley. This means that these values are assigned to whatever is on the other end of the equal sign. And by putting this name into the output, it will output exactly what you want it to be. However, if you would like to output whatever you wanted, you can, within the brackets, use inverted commas, and you can say anything inside of the inverted commas. So let's say, hello world, and run it. Hello world. So just to recap, Booleans are true or false, chars are a specific character on the keyboard, ints are integers, doubles are real numbers, and strings are a combination of characters, either words or sentences.